Get it. And then it is showtime. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the two-man front. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful, wherever you are. I'm sure, hopefully, it's beautiful Wednesday night, whether on the East Coast, where it's 9:25, where you are, fall. It's about 6:25 p.m. Pacific over here. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. We got a great show for you. We got a couple guests. Hopefully, they show up pretty soon to talk about some pretty good topics. But first, before we begin, of course, let me introduce ourselves. My name is Be Easy from Be Easy Sports. And we got the Fog from Objectively Biased Sports. And we are bringing you today a couple solid topics. As you can see here, we're talking about new ruling, pay for play, and the WNBA hysteria. Let's go ahead and talk about, let's see what we got. Oh, before we begin, please subscribe. Take your QR codes out and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our pages. I'll put our pages up at the end to Be Easy Sports and Objectively Biased Sports. And also, again, what we're talking about. Here's the rundown. We're going to talk about the NCAA official ruling, what this means for all of college sports. Obviously, the hammer came, I don't know if call it a hammer, what do you want to call it? The big news came down this week. The NCAA has officially ruled that have agreed that schools can pay players directly. For the first time in the 100 years of the NCAA, schools will be able to pay players directly. Also, we'll talk about the WNBA, the hysteria around it lately. Is it too much? Is it just right? Are we getting ahead of ourselves? Are we really fans? Like, where is this hysteria coming from? And also, I really want to know from you guys, is it sustainable? Right? I want to know we want to hear from you guys. So don't forget to leave your comments below. We want to hear from you. We want you guys to join into the conversation. Leave your comments below on these two topics we're going to get into today: NCAA official ruling, and of course the WNBA hysteria. Is it 2 months just right? Let's talk about it. So, Fog, ready to go in?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's jump right in, baby. All right. NCAA ruling, Fog, as you know, as we all know at this point, this ruling came down. I want to say it came down this week. I'm not really sure it came out this week.
I think at the beginning of the week it was announced.
Beginning of the week, right? Beginning of the week it came down. The NCAA. I'm not going to read this verbatim, but I'll put it on the screen so you guys can see kind of the tidbits. The NCAA and its 5 power conferences agreed to allow schools to directly pay players for the first time in the 100-plus year history of college sports. The NCAA will pay more than $2.7 billion in damages over the next 10 years to past and current athletes, according to ESPN, and they will have a revenue sharing plan allowing each school to share up to roughly $20 million per year for its athletes. Now, I know some of you are wondering how they're going to deviate all of this money, with all the athletes. It's going to be a revenue sharing plan. It's going to be a revenue sharing type of model. So in essence, the football players, basketball players are probably going to get a little more than the other athletes. And that's pretty much, I'm guessing that's pretty much what a lot of people are kind of complaining about. But Fog, we have Trisha here. I want everyone to please give us a round of applause to the beautiful Trisha Joy. She is joining us today to talk about a couple of topics. Trisha, thank you for joining us. We're honored to have you on the show. Oh,
Trisha, you're on mute too, man. You and Brian.
She just got home. Let her get it.
I'm not letting Trisha live not 1 second. Look, technical difference.
While Trisha gets her technical difficulties, in order to fall, give us your take. What's your take on this ruling? What does it mean for college sports, and what does this mean for the future of college sports?
Again, we've discussed this ad nauseum, you and I, for over the last probably 4 or 5 years now. I'm perfectly fine with this. I'm perfectly fine with it. I'm perfectly fine with the revenue sharing. Look, life isn't fair. Certain people are going to get more than others, and that's just the way it goes. But at the end of the day, these college athletes, they're allowed to now make money. They've been making money for these institutions for decades. And it's just gotten increasingly more and more and more. And yet these schools have been able to push the students aside And these student athletes decide, say, oh, okay, you're making me money, great, but you still have to operate under my ruling and not getting compensated for what I'm getting. We've seen coaches become millionaires, get $1 million contracts. We've seen coaches, again, be able to walk away from universities after recruiting kids, knowing that, oh, the next great job is going to come up for me. I'm out, and these kids get stranded. These kids are making money, and it's about time they get paid for their services. That's the way life works. You provide a service, somebody making money off of you. You got to get paid somehow. Even if it's a minimum wage pay, you still got to get paid because you're earning them money. Well, now these college athletes are going to get their just due. And I think it's a win. Now, how they operate going forward, the way these universities distribute the money, what their plans are, I'd like to see what that is like, because you have to have a plan. You can't just say, here's a ton of money, figure it out. No, there's got to be a plan by these institutions, especially in the Power 5 conferences, on how they're going to distribute it, how they're going to make it fair. Again, it's not going to be even across the boards. It can't be. That's not how life works. But what are they going to do to, I guess, make it palatable for the public as well as palatable for the student athletes that are there?
All right, Trisha, your thoughts on this NCAA ruling, on this really historic ruling that this came down this week? Oh, we still can't hear it for some reason. Hold on, let me see. No, her mic volume's there.
It's like you invited her on to mute her?
No.
The hell?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, Trish, what's happening? How you doing?
Sorry, I had to put on my different audio, but is it my turn or
go ahead. Yep. It's all you.
This thing is it's possibly the worst thing that could ever happen in the history of sports.
Oh, wow.
Like, I don't think that everyone is looking enough quarters ahead, or enough years ahead to see what the repercussions of this thing will be. Number one, there is a fair exchange between the kids that are coming to college to play sports and the institution in the beginning. They are coming to school and not having to pay the fee that my family, I have to pay to come to that institution. If they were able to get the stardom and the NILs without coming to the school, right, which is an entry into another level with cameras, with state-of-the-art gyms, if they were able to get it on their own, great. You earn every dollar that you get is directly from you because you're doing it without the support of national televised programming, without the state-of-the-art coaches and the gyms. Those come at a cost that they do not have to pay. And so they are, in fact, in a barter when they come in. Now that this thing is going through, there are several things that I want to just make sure it's clear that is going to happen. Number one, the only schools that are going to be able to survive this are the top 25.
The Power 5 schools.
Yeah, the Power 5 schools, whatever. They're going to survive this because they are not in debt.
Most of them.
The money that comes from the student athletes, the TV deals, all this other stuff, they go to pay off debts that the school incurs. If you go on the NCAA website, right, and a friend of mine told me to do this, who was a D1 player who said this thing is crazy, right? So she's free and pointing out that this is a problem You go on the website and you look at the books for these colleges because it's open. You could look at, this is not football, but let's say look at Rutgers, right?
Yeah.
They are maybe, and I'm making this up because I don't have it in there, but it's something like $138 million in debt, right? So the money that comes in from the TV deals, from to these schools, actually go to pay off the debts that sustain the entire school. So now that we have to worry about not only just, hey, you got to pay these players, and mind you, the fencing team may not be pulling as many dollars in, but whatever. They're the people, right? Let's say they said they went back to 2016, so they got to go back in time.
2016, yeah.
Calculate how much money they should give to people from 2016, right? But the people from 2016 could easily say, you know what, I'm dropping a lawsuit too, because I think we should go back further. So while the school should be functioning as a school, they're fighting off lawsuits for things that happened in 2015. And what I predict is that these schools won't be able to sustain the amount of debt incurred from lawsuits and having to figure out how to make this fair pay. Like Fogman said, figure it out, right? How they pay these students to keep college sports. This ruling makes this an open market, right? There's nothing stopping Saudi Arabia from coming in and making a league for 18 to 2022 when the schools fold, right? Because these kids got to go somewhere, right? But if the schools can't sustain their debt, then they have to close the programs. So it's multiple. It's a travesty on multiple angles because the schools, the middle schools, the low schools, the Chattanoogas, the whatevers of the world can't sustain this. Or if they can't pull in big names. They can't pull in a certain level of athletes, so they can't compete because the top 25 can pay, right? So schools are going to fold, and now there'll be a competition to see who gives these players who now don't have schools to play in, because if you're not top 25 bound, you can't go. All these other outside entities could come in and then just make leagues. Now, let me not, like, I just want to say I'm not making things like this up. I just, you gotta ask questions when you see things, right? So, that who's that QB from Florida that started that venture, that private equity.
Drew Weatherford.
Yes. He started a private equity firm, and their goal is to come in. Mind you, I'm gonna have to make this video self-combust because I might have to go knock on his door. But I'm just, whoever's live and hearing this, I'm gonna flash this in your eye because I'm gonna be right up under Mr. Weatherford soon. But
Timothy Spooney.
Why Tim say, "Where's my NIL check? I went to CCI Community College."
Exactly, Tim about to sue. So he starts a firm that's supposed to help colleges that are going to incur this debt. They offer interest-free loans to the schools so that they can, help their program, organize, do game day stuff, help them with ticketing, etc. And my question is, how are you supposed to pay back a debt if you can't afford to? Right? So you're at school and you're like, oh yes, someone's gonna help me. Okay, I owe you 100 million. Cool. Where am I gonna get this 100 million if we can't get star athletes in? They can never repay this thing. So now what they're doing, I don't want to say this out loud. What they're doing is turning college into real estate. If you can't afford to pay and you got gyms, they'll just be like, yo, hold concerts, right? So all the gyms that can't have D1 teams practicing anymore, they're now going to be turned into places where you could do concerts. I'd say turn them into movie theaters, right? Like, this is the worst thing that can ever happen. And I feel like I'm having a heart attack. Everybody's like, yes, they got paid. And it's like, they got their money and you just sacrificed the future of college sports. Was it worth it?
I'll answer that question. If it's rhetorical, then I won't. But I like that you ended with that question. I hear everything you're saying because I thought this through as well. And I hear that you're saying that it's, somebody else's treasure is going to be someone else's demise. That's pretty much what I hear, right? And I completely understand that. And for lack of a better term, because no one's dying here, but there's going to be casualties in this, right? There is, because obviously when we're looking at this, we're obviously thinking about the revenue sharing sport or the revenue generating sports, the football, the basketball, right? And that's pretty much it. I don't think there's any other sports. No, seriously, I don't think there's any other sports that are generating the same revenue as football and basketball. I don't think any of the sports
baseball,
can agree. Maybe baseball, possibly some top baseball schools like at LSU or Vandy or something like that. I don't know, but I understand that, but I want to answer the question: how is it going to change college sports? I think it's going to change college sports, Trisha, with some of the things that you said. I do believe it could be a situation where that football and basketball just branch away, right? Because they're too big to share revenue, right? So they're going to branch away. They're going to go and do something else. They're going to make their own league. That's already starting. I mean, everybody sees it. Everybody sees with the conference realignment. That's already starting. It's happening. It's been happening for years. Everybody sees it where USC and UCLA are going to the Big Ten. Everybody's that's happening already, right? So there's going to be a super league. What I do think that's going to change. That's what's going to change. I do believe there's going to be more lawsuits. 100%. You hit it on the nose. Where I do believe that. Like, what about the players that played in 2015, right, or 2014 or 13 or whatever like that? And also, for what it's worth, in order for them to receive in exchange for this revenue share or the settlement, the 2016 athletes and beyond have to drop any suits that they have and can't pursue any more suits, right? That was the exchange, right? That's pretty much what they agreed to in the settlement, right? So they can't sue afterwards, right? So there's that, right? For what it's worth. But what I do think also is going to happen, I think Title IX is going to get into play. That I think they're probably going to get there's a lawsuit coming down from them, no question about that. But this is all going towards the NCAA. It has nothing to do with like fans or even the athletes, or even the athletes who aren't the revenue sharing athletes. I think the non-revenue sharing athletes, I do believe they're going to have a gripe, but I do think they understand the situation at hand in terms of college athletics making all this money, like the NCAA being a $1 billion corporation and nothing trickling down to anybody, right?
So unless it's it depends on what you call trickle down, because
trickling down in terms of like trickling down in terms of the revenue share, like the TV deal. Like basically the reason why coaches get paid $13.1 million like Nick Saban or Kirby Smart is because the TV deal. They don't make that money without that.
And here's the thing, Trisha, I agree wholeheartedly with your argument. I'm not even I won't even dispute anything you said. But like you said about, they got to figure it out. Yeah, they have to figure it out. They have to be more fiscally responsible, because all that money that they've been getting, where are they spending it? When you have no, don't give me that on college shit. When you have universities that are geared their facilities are better than NFL facilities.
Yeah.
Just so they can attract those big players. You're sitting here upset that, oh, now money's going to attract them. Well, what do you think these big universities have been doing all this time? They've been spending their money in ways that, hey, maybe you don't have to have an Alabama facility where the university's practice facility is better than 40% of the NFL facilities. Are you kidding me? So, and then the coaching staff, the way they pay some of these, all the coaches and the ADs. Yeah, hey, maybe you might not want. Maybe the trickle down effect will be some of these guys aren't going to get paid the money that they were getting paid before, and either have to accept the role that they're in financially, or go somewhere else. And somewhere else may not pay as well anymore. So this is going to force some of these universities to be more fiscally responsible with the way they do things.
I feel like the irritation is about the pay for the top 1%, right, of the sports, but there's more other people that go down the chain that aren't getting the millions of dollars.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
100%.
So like if you're mad at the top 1%, like, yo, this is life, right? But
it's the bottom.
The money goes more than in the pockets of the athletic department. The money actually helps the other sports,
the university.
And the university.
Yeah.
So when you're saying, hey, basketball and football are going to have to branch off, it's not, hey, branch off, a fencing team, go ahead.
Right.
That money helps to sustain the fencing team. That money helps the tennis team. That money helps the swim team. Right?
It pays the professors.
it pays the professors.
Yeah.
It pays the institution.
Yeah.
So that's why I say, like, if you want to audit, fine, audit and see where the money's going. But you cannot detach these two sports from the rest of the institution, or the colleges, like I said, will fail. More than just the professors, but the other sports that are dependent on these bigger sports to allow them to have the same practice facilities that they deem for, bringing in big athletes for football and basketball. The fencing team be in there too. Swim team be in there too. Like, this is not just for those teams. So I was with y'all when
Trish, while it's not just for those teams, the reason they do it are just for those teams. Let's be clear about that.
They have to keep the funds in. Like, this is that's not a bad thing.
So here's the thing.
Not a bad thing. If football allows for Jimmy to get to do the freaking biopsy and biology, then by all means bring all the good football people so we can have doctors. But if you separate the sport from the school, we don't have doctors. So now you're not just putting us behind in sports, but you're putting us behind in the world.
So you're saying that
the school can't pay for itself.
Right. So you're saying because of how much money these schools bring in with football and basketball, taking them out, it's going to pretty much
fold education. So
here's I agree and don't agree at the same time, because here's the thing. It's not going to affect schools like Harvard, because Harvard has its own endowment. Harvard football, if they lost football, they'll be fine. Right? They'll be fine. I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. It's not going to affect the huge endowment schools, is what I'm saying, right? It's not going to affect those schools. It's going to affect something near and dear to my heart. It's going to affect some HBCUs, right? It's going to affect like the smaller, like Conference USA, Sun Belt schools possibly. But you know what? Here's the thing. Here's just I'm not even mad at you. I agree with what you're saying that football and basketball funnel the funds of these sports behind it. You take away football and basketball from Florida State, right? Say goodbye to the softball program, something like that, right? It's not going to be sustainable. They're not going to be able to generate enough money to travel and to obviously equipment, uniforms, whatever. I get that part. I really do. But what I was going to get to is this. Like the NCAA, this is their fault. This is what I wanted to get to. This is the NCAA. No, just hear me out 1 second. The NCAA had 100 years, really, but let's just be real. They've had like maybe the last 15, 20 year head start. When football and basketball, when college football, when the cash cow started kind of flowing, like especially with the turn of the century where college football right now is the second most popular sport right behind the NFL, right? College basketball is somewhere in the middle of that too, right? So college football really were like, I'm sorry, the NCAA, what they were doing was pretty much laughing in our faces and trying to sell us this thing called amateurism, right? And say that, no, like, these are amateurs. We don't want to pay these players. We don't want NIL. We don't need any of this stuff because these are amateur players. We don't want to give them a piece of the pie. The NCAA is a privately owned company. It's a business, right? They could have done this. They could have created a plan and been more proactive before any of these lawsuits. NIL is only a thing because of lawsuits. If it wasn't for the lawsuits, it wouldn't be a thing, right?
NIL is a thing because of COVID. All right,
okay.
I just want to be clear.
NIL is, but okay, I see where you're going with that. But if it wasn't for the lawsuits of two guys, right? Ed O'Bannon, who kind of got this whole thing going, right? Who sued for being in the game, and he was pretty much Ed O'Bannon.
And he's been out of UCLA for how many years now?
Yeah. And I forgot, there's another guy from Cal, the quarterback from Cal, also got this going as well, right? They've been fighting this for years, right? But NIL was a thing because they were suing. They had so many lawsuits, right?
Let me regurgitate something that was told to me by my friend, who is like D1. NIL became a thing because of COVID. When they came to school, COVID hit, they couldn't come to school, right? And you sign a contract to say that, hey, because I'm signed to your school, I get the best facilities, I get training, I get food, I get shelter, I get all of this, but you're sending me home. What do I do now?
Look,
that's how this because NIL started in 2021, right? That's how this actually started coming down the pipeline. Yeah, this guy sued, but the reason why NIL started wasn't just like a random, like, oh, you know what, let's try this. Nah, it was because of that. So I would actually argue NIL probably actually started more so in 2018, 2019 in California and Florida. Other states were doing it when states were doing it, when like Florida, I forget which state actually started first. I think it was like Florida or California, but it was way before.
I think it was Florida that started first. I know.
And then other states started coming behind and saying, "Hey, we're going to let our guy. If you come to Florida, you're allowed to use your name, image, and likeness." And then it started trickling all over the SEC. Then California did it, and then everybody wanted to go to California because you can get paid in California. So the NCAA, their hands were tied, right? And the Supreme Court, and that's pretty much how that came about, right? All I'm saying is, what I was trying to get at was the NCAA had time, right? The NCAA had time. They had time to put in a plan and stop throwing this amateurism crap in our faces.
Yes.
And stop trying to pretend that these college athletes are student athletes, or at least the football and basketball players are student athletes, and like, they're regular students who are just going to class or whatever like that, where they're pros, right? You know how I know? You know how I know they train like pros. They're on TV like pros. They're activated like pros. They are looked at as pros. They're doing interviews, and you know what? Also, their coaches get paid like pros.
But
right?
they're going to school for free, right? They're going to school for free. The difference between a pro and them is that the platform that they have access to the school because right. Tell me they could have done this without the school, because then I would believe you.
No. Like, the free education. Okay, let me give you a scenario, because that always comes up. The scholarship thing, it's just a joke to me, because it's not worth the billions the NCAA draws in every single year.
I go to work every day. I go to work every day. Do you think I should sue my employer by looking at the? So let me ask
you a question. Do you feel like you're fairly compensated for your job?
I was.
Do you feel like you were, based on how much? Okay, that's fine. That's fair.
Listen, the company's revenue and my salary aren't 1-to-1. And that's in life. That's in the world. That's in everything.
If my work is directly the reason,
how much was your tuition? How much was your tuition?
But if what I'm doing for your school, for your company, if it is directly the reason why you're generating so much money, you can't tell me to say, okay, in exchange for that, in exchange for what you're doing, Brian, in exchange for being a Heisman Trophy candidate for our school, while we plaster your face everywhere, we sell your jerseys, we put you in commercials, you do ESPN commercials, all this stuff for our benefit, for Alabama. In exchange, we'll let you go to school for free. We'll let you go. Well, I'm not, Patricia, look, I'm getting to a bigger point here. We'll let you go to school for free, and we'll give you maybe a stipend, a $2,000 a month stipend, and we'll give you some room and board, right? That does not even, nobody, like, if this was a regular job, like if you were making billions of dollars for your job, right? And your job said, in exchange, we'll give you room and board, we'll let you live here for free, and we'll give you a $2,000 allowance. And but you know that you are directly making billions of dollars. There's no way anybody, I don't care who you are, there's no way you would feel like you are being fairly compensated. There's just no way.
Imagine, if you will, a real estate agent getting paid a salary base, and the commission they make off of what they sell just goes to the company they work for. Are you signing up for that?
No. Hold on. You are dismissing the value of education.
I'm not. No.
I don't care if you come to school and you don't want to go to class.
Do you think those scholarships that they're handing out to these top student athletes are because they value their education?
I did not say that. I said there was a fair exchange, right? If you can be on national television by yourself.
But Trisha, does this sound like amateur?
I'm telling you what they are getting. If you don't want to value the books, value the work that the people behind the scenes have to do to get them the TV deals, the opportunities to be on TV. It's not just, hey, I have a student athlete, do it. There's work being done.
That's fine.
If you're telling me out of high school you could do that by yourself, then fair. We just stole you. But the reason they're coming to school, if you're saying it's not education, is access to the platform, to raise their own personal values, to give themselves the chance to get to the next level, which is pro. If you don't value that, then this discussion is we're missing each other, because they couldn't do it without the school.
So those schools aren't creating the facilities for those athletes because they want those top tier athletes to be there to make that money.
They're making sure the athletes can physically compete.
Let me ask you a question.
Giving them the best facilities possible.
I like that.
If you don't
even
like
playing field. Every
if you
school,
don't like it,
Trisha, every school has an even playing field. They all have the same facility. They all have, everybody has access to everything. Nobody's is greater than the other. They're chasing the
Are you
athlete.
sure? Are you sure?
100%.
100%
Hold
sure
on, hold
they're
on.
chasing the athlete.
The facilities are the same.
That's no.
No, it's a sales point.
It's the sales plan.
It's a sales pitch. They're salesmen trying to attract the best talent to generate money for their pockets. So yes, those student athletes that are in the top 100, top 150 student athletes, those athletes coming out of high school that are ranked that high, those schools are chasing those athletes. They're doing these things to try to bring them in.
So they can pay for their schools, you said?
So they can pay for their schools.
They're not doing it so that they can pay for their schools.
Well,
they're doing it so they can line their pockets and earn a profit.
Okay, so this is a conspiracy theory then.
So wait.
No, it's called business. What are you talking about?
Listen, you can't school me on business because I know the school got a bank account, not just the athletic department. When money's come in, they come into the school bank. They don't come to their they don't come to their AD bank.
Well, it's allocated.
The money comes into the school bank.
But look, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I'm not devaluing education because I understand.
No. Hold on. Let's not go back because we have a conspiracy theory on the table.
No.
There's no conspiracy theory on the table. So whatever narrative you want to create it. It's
I'm not creating a narrative. The NCAA website has the books open.
Look, I don't. Look,
I'm telling
you, the NCAA is something they can have everything open to the public all they want. Everybody knows.
You don't believe. You believe. Believe. Then the checks come in. They go to some random secret bank account. Is you just let me know where.
Wait, I don't know where this is turned. I'm not sure where you are.
He said the money's coming in and they're lacing their pockets. I'm saying that's an accounting issue, right?
No. I agree with Fogg to this standpoint. I agree that when money comes in,
the schools are lacing their pockets. I'm not saying that they're not distributing it. They're not hiding it from the other from other facilities in the university. But Jesus Christ,
consider this. This is I was trying to get the whole amateurism thing, how it's a joke, and how like they're trying to sell education, right? Okay, cool. You want to sell education? You want the NCAA to do that? You know what they should do? Pay Nick Saban like a high school coach. Pay him like an educator.
Why? He earned it.
Why? Because it's amateurism, right?
Why? No.
Amateurism.
He's not playing. He's not playing.
No. Exactly. Whoa. You're making my point, though.
He's not playing. Pay him.
But okay. So if it's amateurism, because amateurism is supposed to be
no. Amateurism goes to the players, right?
No. I don't want to hear that. Why not Nick Saban? He's coaching college kids, right?
He's an amateur. What? He's an amateur. What?
He's an employee.
He's an employee
of the University of Alabama, right?
Yeah.
So he's under the umbrella of amateurism. He's getting paid by the school.
He's an employee.
Okay, then. So
we can allocate. So we're saying that the university can allocate their funds where they want to. If we want to give him $13 million, we'll give him $13 million. But fuck a trickle down effect. Come on, Trisha, don't be a hypocrite.
I'm not being a hypocrite. I don't see how. I feel like
this amateurism.
No.
If Saban's pockets are being lined by the student athletes that he's coaching,
so amateurism should only be the umbrella for the players, not the coaches. The coaches who coach the players.
Who's
bringing in the money for the university?
Wait. Time out. Hold on. Why? Okay, if that's the case, if you're saying that just focus on the players for amateurism, but you and I both agree that Nick Saban is an employee of the University of Alabama. Actually, no, let's use somebody who's actually coaching still. Kirby Smart is an employee of the University of Georgia who's currently making $13.4 million, right? Paid for by the university, not boosters. That's the university, right? Why can't some of that money be allocated to the professors? Since they're under the same umbrella.
Who's saying that they aren't? Who's saying that the money?
Professors making $13.4 million.
No. I'm asking you if we're going employee by employee about their pockets.
That's what. Yeah.
What like?
Professors are making that.
What's the point?
Why are they paying Kirby Smart?
The physics
why are they
teacher?
paying Kirby? Why are they paying Kirby Smart so much money?
Do you think that coaches shouldn't get a lot of money?
If it's under amateurism, hell no. They should be paid like educators. Absolutely not. They should not be paid 13. Now, if you want to allocate the money toward the players as well, like, did you know that Kirby Smart makes enough money to actually pay off his player scholarships?
So
that's the point. That's not amateurism. That has nothing to do with amateurism.
I don't know how we got here. Why are we conflating an employee? Why are we pinpointing employees?
The point is, I'm making is the NCAA had an opportunity to do something about this whole situation when it came to
They did.
They did not. They did nothing. They just sat on their hands. They did nothing.
I entered school on a negative. I entered school on a negative. I owed money. I owed money. And I owed money when I left.
I did too. What do you mean?
Right? So I'm
got student loans.
I owed money when I went there, and I owe money when I left. Now I'm trying to figure out. Do you want if we're gonna start on an even playing field in my FogMeg voice? Should we start these college kids, these athletes in debt? Should we start them?
No. Trisha, no.
We on the negative on the amateurism.
Where did
we just talked about how life's not fair. Everybody starts.
Life isn't fair.
Right, exactly. So
I prefaced this entire conversation with that, but I guess that went over you.
Trisha, all I was trying to get. I was really trying to get on here to destroy the NCAA because they're the reason. They're the reason why we're here. They are the reason.
Let me tell you something.
The NCAA. Hold on, one second before you do that, because we got to move on to the next topic. I don't want to. We can talk about this all night. I know we're all three of us.
You cannot destroy the NCAA, and I'm telling you.
No, I'm not. I'm going to tell you my plan. I know you can't. We can't. The NCAA. Look, I know. I always say it. People always say it. I hope the NCAA dies. It's not going anywhere. It's a multi-billion-dollar corporation. It's not going anywhere.
Dead on arrival.
No.
It's dead.
The NCAA is not going anywhere. No. The NCAA is not going anywhere because there's other sports it could still take care of. Because look, what I think is going to happen, I'm going to answer the question. How does this change college sports? Here's what I think is going to happen. And we're already kind of near that path, right? Football, basketball will separate. They are going to be its own entity. I don't really know what they're going to do, what they're going to call it, whatever it may be. It's going to happen. It is what it is. What the NCAA could do, because look, they already screwed this up once. They're losing their two biggest cash cows. They're going to be gone, right? Those sports are going to be gone, right? They could start from scratch and just kind of create a whole new model to figure out how they can compensate the other sports while they're still there. I don't know how they're going to do that. But they're gonna have to figure it out. They're gonna have to get with the schools.
This is the wildest thing I've ever heard. This is the wildest thing I've ever heard.
All right, before you go, I want to get some of the comments because Kevin Oliver has just been talking a lot. So Kevin says, I didn't need a clarification. When you separate, are you saying that they are removed from the school altogether? I think, Trisha, this is for you, meaning they're not using the school name, logo, facilities, because if they break from the usual athletic structure, don't they still belong to the school and the funds earned will still go to the school? Yeah, I mean, that's what I think. That's what will happen. They're not gonna like break away and become some like, I think Trisha meant the same thing. They're not gonna break away and become some like.
No, I said they're not gonna exist.
What do you mean exist? Like the school?
End of the whole shebang. You're not thinking.
So you're saying
worried about Nick Saban's pockets.
No.
I'm telling you that schools can't have sports.
So yeah, that's what I think that's what Kevin Oliver was saying. He needed clarification.
They can't afford sports.
Some schools can afford. Some schools.
No.
Not all schools. I think all schools. I'll see what Kevin out.
Where's the money coming from? Where's the money coming from?
Let's see.
What exactly, Kevin.
Get compensated for what they do for the school. Well, I mean, I just talked about. Look, Kevin, to answer your question, there's going to be more lawsuits. Don't get me wrong. This is far from over, right? And again, the NCAA messed this up because they could have done this. Figure this out a long time ago.
I'm not letting you get off the runway with that one.
They opened this can of worms by Mark Emmert not doing anything.
Listen, they had scholarships and they had the platform to go to the next level. They got the best teachers, the best facilities, the best everything. Depending on the school, they had the best situation. What you don't understand, right? Because you're focused on this MF's pockets and you're not thinking years in advance in terms of business.
Whose fault is this?
No, listen to me clearly, because 2 years from now, you're going to pretend this conversation never happened, right?
Oh, no, I'm going to save it.
Listen. It's not just, they're going to separate. They're going to figure it out. No. Foreign entities will give 18 to 21 the opportunity. And they are capitalists. And they are going to make those billions that's going to go straight to their pockets when the billions the NCAA was making was going to education.
It was not going to education.
No. That money went to sustain schools. And these are going to be foreign entities. Not all of it. Yes, every dollar, Mr. Audit Accountant. But most of it went to our brains, where foreign entities that have no connection to education are going to really put it in their pockets and drive Porsches on these MF's backs. So when you say, the NCAA put us in the NCAA is not a perfect institution, but dagnabbit, that money was going to me. It was going to you. Even if you didn't finish school, you started it, you had a school to go to. Money that these other institutions all over the world are going to formulate and draw the kids out of America, or even if they do it in America, it's not going to something that would sustain the country, that would sustain the minds, right? So while you worried about Nick Saban making $13 million,
which he shouldn't be.
Worry about the rest of the world. Worry about the rest of America and the rest of the kids going to school, because they're not going to have the money. Nick Saban had his $13 million. People still was going to school. People still was graduating. The schools are going to fall apart. Because you have this conspiracy theory that the money duff bees in their car when they should be feeding it to I don't know, the safety, right?
What Kevin Oliver has said, I agree with this. I get where you're going, but I don't think you're giving the full picture. But you know what? Hold on, wait, time out. I knew that was good. Wait. I want to go, Trisha. I really want to keep going, but we got another topic. I want you to keep that same passion for this next topic. Kevin is trying to start shit. Here's what he do.
How big of a picture does it?
I love Kev.
I don't understand.
Let's go on. Hey, look. Well, this is a never-ending topic. Obviously, like I said on the top of this whole topic, this is just the beginning, and I feel like all of us agree with that.
Yeah, it is.
Well, no matter which direction this goes, this is only the beginning of a huge just shift. And to Trisha's point, probably a huge cultural shift when it comes to education, when it comes to sports, when it comes to life. I mean, it's just the beginning. So we'll see. We will see where this ends up. I love this topic, actually. I really do. It's fun because you don't know what's gonna happen. All right,
Trish,
so
what?
Huh?
Trish looks like she's sweating over there.
Hey man, it's a fun topic.
I know that application. Listen, guys, college applications are down year over year, 10%. Right? We in the beginning of the end. So you
college applications are down for that. Well, look, I'll speak on that real quick because I'm a school counselor, so I do that a lot. College applications are down for a variety of reasons, but I mean, if this is one of them, then maybe. But college applications are it's weird. They're down, but they're up at the same time. So, like,
you're right. They're down for a variety of reasons. But now, aside from the NCAA, 10% of kids per year are opting not to go to school. So I'm just asking y'all where the funds is coming from. Where the funds is coming from? Because they're not coming from regular people no more. Where the money coming from?
Yo, Kev, that was beautiful. I love that comment.
I'll say this about colleges. They're fine. Trust me. Like, schools are fine. I'm not even, that's something I know. They are fine. I know that. They're good. These schools around here, Silicon Valley, they're fine. All right, let's talk about the WNBA because that has been something of a hot topic since pretty much, when the draft was in April, maybe even before the draft, probably since the NCAA tournament, where, as you know, everybody knows Caitlin Clark has been, I don't know if you want, I'll say has spearheaded it. Depends on who you ask, right? Depends on who you ask in terms of who has spearheaded this hysteria of the WNBA, this much needed, really, popularity boom of the WNBA. But the question is it becoming too much? And I'm glad you had you on here. I wish I had Sharon on here as well because she has a lot of insight too. The question really is it too much or is it just right? Like, where are we missing? Because I'm gonna pass it to Fog. I'm gonna ask him, then Trish, I want to get your word as well. Just based on what I'm seeing, there seems like there's two camps to this, right? There's the I'm watching because of Caitlin Clark camp, right? And that's why it's popular because I'm a casual fan and I'm watching because of Caitlin Clark. And sometimes what you should be doing if you're that fan is you're watching Caitlin Clark, but you're watching other players too to get more interested, but they don't do that. But yeah, there's that camp. And then there's the other camp where the camp of, you didn't start watching the WNBA, you weren't watching, so don't start watching now. Or that there's a little bit in that camp as well of, and I find it kind of hypocritical because the camp that's saying that, why are you guys watching now were the same camp that were saying that we didn't watch enough, right? We didn't watch enough. And the other camp is saying, well, I'm watching now, but because I'm interested in this one player who's piqued my interest, right? So, Fog, I'm gonna let you go first, and then I'm gonna let Trisha kind of follow up on what you have to say.
I don't think when is any type of viewership and hysteria too much, especially to a league that wasn't getting that draw? This couldn't be better for the WNBA because the way it is attracting not just casual basketball fans, but it's actually attracting people that didn't even think about women's basketball before. I think it's me and you were talking about it be off air. Both Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese,
yeah,
have wound up selling out stadiums.
Mm-hmm.
How is that bad? How is this hysteria bad at all? You're not obviously everybody wants an immediate return on investment. You're not going to get that. That's not how life works. But if both these players and the league continues to progress and they piggyback these two players and these two players wind up being, potentially your top 5 or 10 players in that league, how's the hysteria bad? This is again, I hate the negative publicity on it, like you said, with people saying, "Oh my God, they're watching it just to hate on her." No, they're watching it because of her, because of Angel. This draft class generated that.
Mm-hmm.
This is a positive thing, and if they, again, as the season progresses, if they continue to progress and get better, this can only be a positive impact on the WNBA.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Trisha, response to what Fog had to say?
I could give the PC response.
Nah.
PC. Come on, Trish.
No,
You wasn't PC 20 minutes ago. Don't start to be PC now.
I'm PC because I see whenever I see the end, I start going. But I think the hysteria is good for the sport. I think that the what's bad is that we have to sort of go along with the new people watching for what they believe is one player piquing their interest, but it's more than that. And for the sake of being allowing for more people to view the sport, we have to kind of play that game because you know, they will either be offended that you're looking at them from that perspective, or they'll say, well, you see, this is why we didn't want to watch in the first place, right? Let's let it be, even though like some of the people that was rocking with women's basketball from for a long time can kind of identify who's who, right? If we just get the dollars from them and call it a day. But there's a lot of layers of socio political things happening that aren't acknowledged, and the hysteria they're saying is pure. Oh, I just love basketball. I just love this player that hasn't won any championships. Right? She's amazing.
Hold on. I'll say what Trish wanted to say. Everybody, those new followers, it's that white country, great white hype hope that, oh, we got this now, so now we can. Hey, the same way we had Black parents say one day you could become president. You could be over. Well, now all of a sudden it's like, hey, one day, baby girl, you could become Caitlin Clark. I'll say it, Trish. I got your back. We could disagree on a lot of shit.
Let me say one more thing.
We could disagree on a lot of shit, but I'm right there with you because where I'm at, where I live at, I have seen that shit at the bar where I'm looking at people and going, your ass ain't ever said nothing about women's basketball, but what the okay. Somebody's lying.
Somebody had to draw this out of me. Let's say you're right. You're 100% right. But to top it all off, like, this is the only way in basketball that white people will get a number 1 draft pick. Right? They're not getting it in the NBA. And I feel like it's come to the realization, like, yo, this
not an American-born player, at least.
Right.
No.
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
Not
even a foreign player, honestly.
You know, it's why we got this hysteria. But at the same time, we gotta rock with it because you gotta start from somewhere. They said they have been great white long time. Okay, so Kevin, so I'm supposed to be doing like a podcast about this in the daytime when people aren't watching, because then it could allow me to like, say things. But Kevin, I wish we could do like Wheel of Fortune where we can just do the letters and I won't have to say anything, but there's a reason why they're leading to Caitlin and not like a Diana Taurasi or not like Sue. Sue Bird. All of them came in. Della Don, all of them were great.
Yeah.
Well, what's the difference?
And they never came in with the hype we've seen now.
Do you know why?
I think there's a couple.
I'll let y'all say it. Right? I'll let y'all say it.
I don't know what I don't know what your answer is going to be, Trisha, but I'll answer that to why I think it is. One, I think it's that. Well, I can't say because Caitlin Clark's a guard, but I do think that it's this whole 3 era and where she takes her threes from. I think that the whole idea of we're like obsessed with 3-point shot and especially the logo shot. We've never really seen that before from a player, so I understand the hysteria around that. Even though, like, I still feel like a lot of players can still do that. Caitlin Clark did it a lot, and she made it to her credit. And also the social media era. Like, Diana Taurasi didn't come out during the social media. Diana Taurasi came out, 03, 04? Lobo came out in 1999, I think. Della Don came out in 2011 of some sort, something like that. So, like, but the centers or the power forwards in the WNBA aren't going to get a lot of traction because, they're just not, unfortunately. They're not exciting.
I'm going to say it right here. It was because it was a black and white rivalry. This was a Larry Bird, Magic Johnson rivalry, and that's what created this hysteria.
I wanted to get on that because I think Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark were great for television. I think
absolutely.
Outside of I don't like how Angel Reese is being portrayed by the media, but that's just what it is. She's a black woman. It's just gonna happen. Unfortunately, she's gonna have to be pegged as the villain. But she embraces it and she's backing it up, right? Personally, I've been saying for a while that the WNBA needs to capitalize off that rivalry between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. There is a race component. Do I like it? Not really. But honestly, what are we obsessed about in this country? We're obsessed with race. Even though a lot of people are uncomfortable with it, we are drawn towards it. If Angel Reese was beefing with another black girl, wouldn't matter. Nobody would care. If Caitlin Clark was beefing with like Della Don or Sue Bird, we don't care. We don't care. But because there's a white component and a black component, that's gonna pique our interest. And I've been saying for a while, the WNBA, that's must-see TV. And they're both really good. It's not like one is not good and the other one is. They're both, I would say, equally good at what they're asked to do. Obviously, Caitlin Clark is the better shooter. She's the guard. But what Angel Reese brings to the table is toughness. She rebounds and she puts the ball back in the basket, right? That's what she's really good at, right? It may not be as exciting, but I think her personality, I think what she does off social media is really great. I think the WNBA needs to capitalize on that. But I don't think the hype is too much. Like you said, I don't think it can't be that bad, right? It can't be bad, right? I think it's something that they've needed, right? I think they needed a spark like this, right? But I do understand.
It's one of those things where you turn around and go, man, we always argue there's some people where it's like negative attention is good attention as long as they're getting attention. This might be one of those situations where even though there's a negative fallback, at the end of the day, it can have a extremely positive result.
Yeah, I agree. I think that NBA history, the NBA wasn't profitable until Larry Bird and Magic.
Right.
They got their first TV deal because of the rivalry. And so this is the same like history, but on the women's side. The Larry Bird versus Magic with Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. So they're definitely doing the same history but repeats itself thing. And there are personalities, there are more than just athletics, going on the court. So that is interesting. And whether or not men will admit it, the drama is exciting to them.
Drama is exciting. I'll admit it. It's exciting as hell. Like Kevin even said it. Kevin said that, like, what great game on the men's side do you get to look forward to with the same players? Like, honestly, the men's rivalries, there really isn't a rivalry in the NBA. I don't really know if there is one between the players. True. I don't think there is. Like, because I think, honestly, it's so crazy to me right this, right? Like, NBA players or NBA fans, like I don't know what fan, old school, new school, everyone is always saying that, like, man, like I wish the NBA players would go back to hitting each other. Where's the beef in the NBA? Remember back in the 90s where they were punching each other, Jordan Pistons, Celtics, Lakers,
Right,
all that stuff. WNBA is doing it right now, but now we're saying, I really want that. Now Angel Reese is he sees too much. Now, like, why is Caitlin Clark crying? Why is she showing so much emotion? Right? Why is Angel Reese showing so much emotion? Why is she always in somebody's face? Like, that's the double standard that bothers me. Like, we're cool with it in the men's game if it happens. We're cool with the rivalries if there's a scuffle or a fight, something like that, or like, if somebody gets in somebody's face, we're cool with it. But what happens in the women's game in the WNBA, it's a whole different picture. Like, they should be like picking each other up or hugging each other. I don't know what people want. I really don't know.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. I saw comments like that too. Like, oh, the women's game, they're I guess more vicious. Like, don't get me wrong, women's basketball is vicious. Like, in terms of like just even the fouls, they're a little bit different. But I saw a lot of people complaining that they weren't nice enough, that they weren't hugging, or even people like they don't like that you may have a criticism about Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese. And I'm like, yo, all of NBA analysis is about criticizing one player versus another. Like, y'all know me, I wake up 6 a.m. in the morning telling you how much Klay Thompson is overpaid and how much, it's the same. We want to do the same thing with the WNBA, but it's a delicate situation now, and I get it. So just buy the tickets.
I agree. I think WNBA is in a great place. I think people need to get out of the way and let go of their little biases or whatever they have towards WNBA players. And like it's what you're looking for in the men's game. You're looking for the attitude, right? You're looking for like the rivalries. That's what's there. Right. And I feel like it's actually working though. I feel like we watch Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, like those games will sell. We want to see those two, even though they don't guard each other, as long as you're on the same court, that's what we want to see. But you don't get that in the men's game. So let me get some of Kevin's comments real quick. Kevin said they got to stop acting like they're supposed to give her a layup. Talk about Caitlin Clark. I support rookie bashing in all sports. Let the women compete like they mean it. Definitely agree with that. He also says, and don't let this turn into the mean black girls attacking poor little Caitlin, because that's what is actually happening. Actually, that's exactly what's happening. Let her play ball and get through it without becoming some weird avatar for Charlottesville. But yeah, I agree. That's pretty much the issue, because no one came to Angel Reese's rescue when she got knocked down by that one player. I want to say she was on the Aces, when they went to Las Vegas. And actually, she choked down. Actually, it wasn't knocked out. She was choked down, but no one came to. But Caitlin Clark rolls her ankle before she even gets to the player on that screen. Yeah, everyone's saying they're hating on her. like as if that screen made her roll her ankle. But like, I'm not trying to hate on Caitlin. I'm not hating on Caitlin Clark. I do think the hysteria for her or the protection of her is a little too much. And honestly, I said this before. I think I told you this either a separate time or something. I think last show we were talking about Caitlin Clark's debut. If Caitlin Clark came into the league and dropped 40, that would look horrible for the WNBA.
Yeah.
That would be bad. Like, I don't want to see her drop 40.
Yeah. We need to see her grow into this. That's why it was like, I understand people why they were mad at, well, why is Diana Taurasi saying what she's saying? I felt a little hatred, but at the same token, this is a woman who played the game. She gets it. She understands that there's going to be growing pains. I didn't think Caitlin Clark was going to be a complete flop, but there's going to be growing pains. There is a complete adjustment from the college game to the pro game, just like in anything else. I say this all the time, B. Say it all the time. Most times these guys are playing against future accountants, real estate agents, retail store managers. Once you step into the big leagues, you're in there with a chosen few whose jobs, this is their profession. It's a big step.
Absolutely, no question about it. So I think we all agree that this is good for the WNBA, but there needs to be a level of of I don't know if call it fairness or not, or just a level of understanding that one, it's not all about Caitlin Clark. The whole rookie class, this is almost like akin to the 2003 NBA class where LeBron, Melo, who else was it? D Wade, Chris Bosh, all came into the league and kind of took over. Right? This is the same exact situation happening. Remember, I don't know if you guys saw that clip where where LeBron's teammates were saying, "Oh, we don't need him. We don't need that. Blah blah blah. We don't need LeBron. We don't need." I think his teammates were saying that about him before he even got drafted. So that was happening to LeBron. Now the same thing was happening to him. So this rookie class is really gonna is Cameron Brink, obviously Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, all of them, right, are all going to Camille Cardosa. They're all gonna help the league, right? So we're all gonna, I'm looking forward to the next couple of years and seeing where all these players are at, honestly. Let's see. It's Kevin said one last thing. I think I missed somebody too. So one day we'll look back and joke about this like we do Bill LeBear trying to kill MJ. Yeah, maybe. yeah. Honestly, yeah. Absolutely.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I think we will. I think all these women are gonna be fun, phenomenal. They think that's gonna do it for us. Want to thank everybody for coming on, and obviously thanking Trisha Joy for coming on and always getting the debate rolling, always bringing the energy, the passion. Really, really appreciate it. Trisha. Definitely gotta have you on again. Kevin Oliver, appreciate it, man. Tim Spooney, TCI Community College legend. Hope you get your NIL. Hope you get that NIL check in the mail. Let us know what you get. Take us out to dinner if you do. Definitely want to shout out everybody for watching on all platforms. Game Winning Drive, 3-Man Weave, 4QQ, 2MW. Thank you guys for always support. Of course, always please make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to that. Take that QR code. Subscribe to us, and then also make sure you follow our pages, directly at Buyer Sports, the Fog, and of course BZ Sports with myself. And also, Trisha, I want to do something real quick because I see the book behind you. I want you to bring that book up. I want you to sell that for us real quick. Where can people get it? What is it
about? Dad Lost a Sports Bet. I was inspired by Fog Meg, as you can see. There's a lot of bets, and I wanted to make a book that would help keep the family together, right? It's an inspirational book for both the reader and children. You can get it on Amazon.
Absolutely. Right? Y'all see that? Dad Lost a Sport Bet. Get on Amazon. It's on sale right now. Especially y'all who I don't bet, so I'm not gonna need that. I'm still gonna get it. No, that's for Fog and his family together.
I hate the fact that she said that. I'm like, damn, really? And that kind of
does look like
shit. Yeah. I'm glad I was your inspiration, Trish. I appreciate it.
Always.
But that's gonna do it for us tonight. Thank you guys for joining us. I'm the Fog. I'm not the Fog. I'm Be Easy. Brian, that's the Fog. Trisha Joy. We'll see you guys.
I'm on a book. I'm now Be Easy. I'm everything, man. I want my NIL deal. What the hell?